are going to fulfill your prophecy, which is to finish around 500, just hover around 500. Like the prophecy will be fulfilled again. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want that to get lost on Mike McDaniels. But you mentioned the Steelers, so let's go ahead and move the conversation over there. I'm not going to say this is a make or break type of deal because the AFC isn't that strong. So you don't need to have an overwhelming record because I'm comfortable in saying the Dolphins are not winning the division. So I can say that. However, this ain't 2 or 3 years ago where you need at least 10 or 11 wins to get into to make the playoffs. Ravens are down. The Bengals are very beatable. The Steelers are terrible. Other than the Chiefs and the Bills, bro, there's no team that you could say, okay, yeah, I could bank my what's it call it on. So
yeah, you don't trust anybody. Yeah, you don't trust anybody.
Yeah, so I say all of that to say this. You don't have to win this game. But as a 7.5-point favorite and a negative 340 as a money line favorite, which is an overwhelming money line if you know about betting, you better kind of win this game, even with the whole shit you guys got going on with the quarterbacks. Because the Steelers aren't good, and Mitch Trubisky is most likely going to start this game. So,
I was reading that Kenny Pickett was going to start.
I thought he had a concussion, so they just only let the Dolphins players get concussions and not come back, bro. All right, cool, whatever.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett had full participation in practice.
Oh yeah, never mind.
It only applies to us. Yeah, it only applies to us. Herb. Teddy Bridgewater hit his elbow and they didn't let that nigga play, bro. Come on, bro. What are we doing here, man? They're just trying to punish us, dog. We're the bad kid. The Dolphins are the bad kid. We always get in trouble. So that's what the NFL is gonna do. They're gonna do all their new concussion protocol crap on us. And the Steelers, he had a concussion on this. He's probably gonna play. Yeah,
okay. All right, so I take that back. Either way, you guys are a 7.5-point favorite. You better win. It's not a must win. It's a you better win. So what are you looking forward to seeing from your team going into this game, Rodney?
Well, for starters, I mean, we're supposed to get 2 key cogs to the offense back, two in Armstead, the 2 guys who are the most injury prone out of our best bunch of players. We get those guys back, and you look, the Steelers right now, they're riding high because they just completely gobsmacked the Bucs. Like it's crazy because you would have never expected like the Bucs to lose to the Steelers, but that's the beauty of football. But I mean, man, when you look at the Steelers right now, their secondary is banged up. They don't have a lot of guys in their secondary, and they're going up against 2 guys in the NFL right now who are top 5 in receiving yards. Tyreek leading with 706, and Waddle with about 500. So, man, and you got Tua coming back. The line should be a little stronger. And defensively, the Dolphins have shown flashes, man. Jalen Phillips last week. He came alive, man. He was a problem for the Vikings offensive line. You look at Xavier Howard. He's playing. He's going to be healthy. The problem is we have no Byron Jones. Nick Needham's out. So we're going to have to depend on guys like Noah Igbenogany.
Rod. This is very vain. I hate cutting you off because you really get into your mode. But I had to do this because I spent time on this. So I'm going to just go ahead and do this.
What's up?
Yeah, got the little logo. Topic 1, Dolphins Steelers breakdown. I just needed to do that. My bad, bro. My bad, bro.
You're hilarious, bro.
The floor is yours again, sir. The floor is yours.
But back to what I was saying. When it comes down to it, the Dolphins really have a big advantage just because we have an offense that is really like, if you look at the way the Bucs played the Steelers were blitzing a lot because they can't get pressure. Without TJ Watt, the Steelers, they have to generate pressure via the blitz, right? And when it comes down to it, the Dolphins offense, Mike McDaniel is the king of motions. As a matter of fact, the Dolphins run motions and shifts 84% of the time, which is 9% above the 2 next teams, which is the 49ers and the Chiefs. So the Dolphins are a team that when you play the Dolphins, we constantly have guys moving up and across the line of scrimmage. We constantly move Tyreek from one side of the line to the other. We use play action fakes, RPOs. Mike McDaniel just does a great job of keeping defenses on their toes. There's always multiple things to think about on every snap, which is a part of why our offense has been so effective, especially when you add in the talent. So I just don't know how the Steelers really defend that, because teams have played well. Like, if you look at the numbers, teams have passed well against the Steelers secondary, and they're hurt. So I expect with Tua being back, they may start a little slow trying to get back in the rhythm, but I think as the game goes on, I think we're going to put it on them. And on the flip side, I do have a message for the defense. You know, people always say this old school saying in football where they say, oh, when you play a young quarterback, you got to pressure him. I'm actually not someone who's in that school of thought. I'm of the mindset of you play coverage and you make that young quarterback make good decisions each and every time he snaps the ball. Yeah, you mix in some pressure, you show some different looks, but just look at what happened to the Browns. The Browns, their game plan was, oh, we're gonna load the box, we're gonna make sure that Ramondre Stevenson and those running backs don't do nothing. Bailey Zappi, you gotta beat us. Bailey Zappi beat y'all.
He beat y'all.
He beat y'all.
2 yards and 2 touchdowns. He beat y'all.
He beat y'all.
He beat y'all.
So when you look at it from that standpoint, and by the way, Patriots fans, I hope y'all start Mac Jones when he comes back. I hope. I don't want to see Bailey Zappi,
because Mac Jones is in the running for the fastest a first-round pick has ever lost their job, bro. Like, he's already in the running for that, bro. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like
they'd have to be insane to put him back, bro. That's my thought. They have to be. I know they might do it, but
you know who's insane? Okay, speaking of insanity, speaking of the AFC East, ironic, right? Insanity is the Jets putting Zach Wilson back over Joe Flacco. So there's so much money. There's so much money. Remember, he's the 15 overall pick.
Right.
That's not top 10. That's not top 5. But that means that out of 252 other people that were draft eligible, you chose Mac Jones. So I can't see them going to Billy Zappi, bro. The money is different. This isn't Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady, where actually I take that back, because Drew Bledsoe got a $100 million deal and Tom Brady took that nigga lunch. But Drew Bledsoe played for years. You knew what Drew Bledsoe ultimately was, right?
Right.
So even then, that's still not comparable. This man has only played a year and 2 games in the NFL. Even though we all know what Mac Jones is, you can't really say you know what Mac Jones is.
That's fair. It's true,
right? But again, I don't want to get caught up on that because it's about Dolphins and Steelers. So the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, so basically this is my plea to the defense. You know, the Dolphins we have a defense that's very aggressive, and I just think, especially when you consider we don't have all our horses in the secondary, in particular our cornerback. I mean, who we're gonna have out there? We're gonna have Xavier Howard out there, who he's still one of the better cornerbacks in the league. But then you got Noah, who had his first decent game ever. He actually almost had 2 picks, which blew my mind. I was like, wow. Noah Igbenogany is actually capable of making plays. I was ready to ship this guy for a 7th round pick, man. But I mean, how much do you trust him? You know what I mean? So, I think our defense, especially if they're playing Kenny Pickett or Trubisky, really either or. Trubisky, part of the reason why the Bucs got upset was because the Bucs were blitzing a lot, and Trubisky, for whatever reason, as bad of a quarterback as he is, he's actually pretty decent against the blitz. And which is hilarious. Ironic. So I just hope that the Dolphins don't get into this mode of, let's go cover 0. Let's try to confuse the rookie. Make him play coverage. Make him make good decisions, dog. Make Kenny Pickett push him down the field. You know what I mean? And those are my thoughts.
All right. So one of the things about the Steelers, right? And this is why it's good to have football podcasts. It's good to be informed, right? Because when you hear Steelers, you just automatically assume a good defense. The 2022 Steelers are not a good defense. They are, by every metric, a horrendously bad defense, which makes the Bucs loss even more embarrassing. And we'll get to that later. You feel me? Wink, wink, because we have a special guest on that's coming soon. But yeah, let me just give you some of the numbers for the Steelers, right? Overall, team defense overall, 29th. They're 18th against the rush. They're 30th against the pass. Mind you, this is a defense that has Micah Fitzpatrick in it. And scoring defense, 23rd. That means that 22 other teams are better at not giving up as much scores as they do. They're in the bottom 7 of scoring allowed, points allowed. And I always find it funny when you guys play the Steelers and you play Minka, because Minka could have made you guys have a generational defense if he just wasn't a fucking dumbass, bro. like, dude, like, see it through. Like, was Brian Flores that unbearable, bro? Like,
oh man, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because Brian Flores is on the Steelers staff.
He is on the Steelers staff. Yes, this is
so. You listen. You never know how these games are gonna go, but for Tua's sake, I hope Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, I hope them boys put it on the Steelers, dog, because Brian Flores put that man through unnecessary amounts of BS. And I was watching an interview with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think it might have been Rich Eisen he was talking to, and it was somebody.
It probably was because I saw him recently on YouTube on an interview with Rich Eisen. So it most likely was Rich Eisen.
And he was, Rich, asked him about, the things that went on in Miami and how Tua's first year was and whatnot. And like, you could just tell by the way Fitzpatrick was talking the situation, like he ain't fuck with Flores. He thought he was a dude. You could tell like a lot of the guys who talk about him who were in Miami, Gesicki, all these guys, they were not a fan of this guy. They were not a fan of this guy at all. And it just speaks volumes, just the difference that a coach can make to players and how well they can develop and succeed. Because a lot of our players on offense, except for Liam Eichenberg is the personification of if being good in college is not the same as being good in the NFL as a person. Because Liam Eichenberg is terrible, bro. All right? I had high hopes for him, bro, because he was really good in college, bro. But I digress. Other guys, Tua, Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, Jalen Waddle. Like, we have guys that have gotten better. And that's a testament to having a coaching staff that understands how to deal with our players and get the best out of them.
Okay, so I want to wrap up the conversation with the matchup against the Steelers because I do want to bring it back to Brian Flores for what I think would be a very interesting, almost important conversation, bro. So, what are your keys to victory? The 3 things that you think you need to do execution-wise to make sure you do what you're supposed to do, which is leave out of there with a win, bro. You guys cannot lose to the fucking Steelers. Oops. You guys can't lose to the effing Steelers, bro. At home. On prime time. On prime time.
So, the number one thing I got to start with is protect Tua. And also, it's not just the offensive line. I want Tua to protect Tua. I don't care if Tua throws the ball away and somebody's wide open downfield. I want him to get into the habit of protecting himself because people want to listen. Our offensive line has been good these past couple weeks, but in the game that he got hurt, he had 5 seconds to do something with the ball, and he didn't do anything. So Tua, and it's funny because Mike McDaniel this week he stressed in practice, and he told the beat reporters and whatnot. He told the media. He said, they've been telling Tua like, dude, you can't make it. Sometimes the play isn't there. Throw it away.
Throw it away.
Throw it away.
Bro, his little brother just got hurt, bro. Like I get it. It's ingrained in you. You can't fight it. We had the same conversation with him and our Robert Griffin III. Like, some people just know how to take the worst hit possible, bro. Like, it's not know how to because there's know how to avoid a hit. There's know how to protect yourself. And then there's know how to take the worst hit possible. You feel me? Like, you dodge a decent hit, you almost get hit by a bad hit, and you go head first into the worst hit possible in that situation. Robert Griffin III, number 1, and then a close second Tua Tagovailoa, bro. Like, it's ridiculous, dog. It's very ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So other 2 keys. I know I'm putting you on the spot because more.
It's cool. I'm with it. So the first key was protect Tua, including Tua. The second key to the game, I would have to say, is the defense. We need to, we need to be able to get pressure with 4 guys. We have enough talent on our defensive line between Jalen Phillips, Melvin Ingram, Emmanuel Ogba, Zach Sealer, Waquan Davis. Like we got bodies on that front line. We need to be able to get, and we were doing actually a pretty decent job of that against the Vikings. I just want to see more of that, because the best thing to do is to get pressure with 4, especially against a rookie quarterback or someone who is not as a guy like Trubisky who can burn you on the blitz. That would be my second key. And my final key to the game would be, listen, since we're gonna have Tua, all we just gotta let the cheetah and the penguin cook, man. We've seen what they can do these past few weeks. We've seen them what they could do with Tua. We've seen what they could do without him. And I have no doubt in my mind, as long as number 1 is out there, he's gonna get the ball to them boys. And I just don't what answer do the Steelers have? Minka might catch him a pick or two. Tua could be a little bit of a gunslinger for whatever reason. He doesn't have a gunslinger's arm, but Tua likes to do that sometimes. So Minka might get one, but for the most part, I expect our passing offense to have a hell of a day, because not only are the Steelers not good overall in the season, they're hurt, and we need to take advantage of that.